We'll have you sit right next to the governor, right there. Get everybody in. Lex, why don't you guys go that way, up the aisle. There's seats in the back. You go right there. Okay, we get everybody in. All right, everybody, we're going to get started here with our press conference. Thank you so much for coming. Order of operations, Mayor John W. Ewing Jr., Mayor of Omaha, will give brief opening remarks. He'll hand it off to Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen. And then I know the one that you're all here to see, the champ, will get to take some questions from the audience. As soon as this press conference is over, about 15-20 minutes, we'll ask that our sponsors and other elected officials and dignitaries who are here follow me to the mayor's office. We'll do some quick pictures. Media, you probably want to get staged for the parade. Parade, as you know, starts at 19th and Farnham and heads east, cuts over at 13th and goes down Harney into Heartland of America Park, where we're going to have a terrific program in which you will see the mayor and the champ, obviously, for that program. So without much ado, Mayor, please open us up.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I want to make sure I recognize all of our elected officials. I see Commissioner Chris Rogers. I see City Councilwoman Lavanya Goodwin, City Councilman Ron Hugg, and State Senator Terrell McKinney. Am I missing anyone? Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Ashley Spivey, right in front of me. Sorry. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, elected officials, for being here as well. It's an awesome day in Omaha, Nebraska, when we get to celebrate the champ and the great work that he has done and the excellence that he has shown in his craft. So thank you for allowing us to celebrate you. I'd also like to recognize the sponsors: the City of Omaha Mayor's Office, Rebat Season, American National Bank, CHI Health, Baxter, Laborers International, Enterprise Properties, NP Dodge, and Supernovas. I really can't tell you how awesome it is to be able to have this celebration, because as I was saying, I truly appreciate the excellence in which Bud Crawford has represented the city of Omaha, and I'm really always thrilled to see how he interacts with our young people and the role model that he is. I think it's great to have role models across the country, but it's always even better to have a role model right here in your own town. So thank you for being a great role model as well as a great champion. On September 13th, I couldn't be in Las Vegas because I had a birthday party for my 2-year-old grandson. But on September 13th, we all witnessed history. We saw an amazing technician do amazing. Okay.
You might be covering the mic.
Okay. Step back some minute. We saw an amazing technician fight one of the most sound technical fights I've ever seen. I'm not going to say I'm a boxing expert, but to go against a puncher like that and not get hit, that was technical excellence. And then he showed his strength as well with the punches that he was able to throw. He performed in front of 71,000 people, a record at Allegiant Stadium, and 41 million more watching on Netflix. Terence Bud Crawford won a unanimous decision to become the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world.
Woo!
He made history in more ways than one, but won with power. He won with smarts. He won with grace, and he won with the name Omaha proudly emblazoned on his waist. When Bud won, we won. Omaha, the city, is like Bud Crawford, the boxer. Bud's incredible story exemplifies a city that is often punching above its weight. Like Bud, Omaha has had to train to compete with the best. You see that training practically everywhere. There's an orange cone, too many orange cones maybe, construction, fencing, and there are a lot on this parade route even, that the city is growing its physical muscle. Our city is jumping 2 weight classes. The name Terence Crawford now sits among boxing all-time greats. And I'm a little biased, I admit, but all of the fighters I've seen since I was a young man watching boxing, I would say, pound for pound, he is the greatest fighter I've ever seen. He is the pride of North Omaha and our hometown champion. I will now hand it off to Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen for remarks as well. Thank you for coming, Governor.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and good morning, everybody. Extraordinary privilege for me to be here to celebrate, congratulate Bud. Really, really extraordinary. I hate to admit this because I say I'm turning 50 this next year, but the reality is I'm a lot older. I'm fighting this aging. I'm old enough to remember some extraordinary Nebraskans that are incredible athletes. I'm old enough to remember and watch Bob Gibson. I'm old enough to remember Gale Sayers running for a 100-yard touchdown for Kansas and be one of the greatest players ever. I'm old enough to remember Marlon Briscoe and the things he accomplished. Of course, Johnny Rogers. Of course, Eric Crouch. These are all incredible Nebraskans that are some of the greatest athletes, the greatest ring of athletes in the history of our state. The champion of the ring. So as the governor of Nebraska, I can make a proclamation. The champion of the ring, the greatest male athlete in the history of our state, without a shadow of a doubt, is champion Bud Crawford. So needless to say, the mayor talked a little bit about extraordinary boxer. You know, I can remember as a kid watching Muhammad Ali, and what was his saying? Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Bud Crawford rewrote it and took it to a whole new height as being a boxer. It's just extraordinary stuff. But I think that maybe the part that we should focus and maybe talk a little bit about, we all grow up in different sets of circumstances. You know, Bud didn't have honey cake and pie handed to him. He worked his tail off, fought through difficult sets of circumstances, found an extraordinary mentor, found it, 7 years old when you followed Grandpa and your dad in boxing, found the ring. And I think that maybe one for all of us to think about is impacts each one of us can have. And now what Bud's doing with his boxing club. And so it takes all of us, and fighting through all the different challenges. So that's probably the part that I'm most incredibly proud of. Bud's a world champion, extraordinary impact boxing, but making a far greater impact with kids. Kids, we all agree. Our kids are our future. We never give up on kids, and Bud's making it happen. And I guess I'll leave it with Bud's a mentor to kids. Every one of us, right? No kid needs a mentor. They all deserve them, and every one of us can make an impact and follow Bud's lead. His boxing club having an impact on a ton of kids that can find a way, find hope. And so Bud he's done so much more than putting Omaha on the map and Nebraska on the map, and continues to, humble guy that says, I really didn't train that hard. But he brings it. So brings it to the party, and could not be more proud. Bud Crawford gives us all hope. Gives us all hope that we can compete with anybody in the world and in anything that we do. We can be the best. Bud Crawford's the best. He gives us all hope we can do the same thing. Congratulations, Bud. Incredibly proud.
Thank you, Governor. And I know you all really came to hear myself and the governor speak, right? I didn't think so. But without further ado, I give you the greatest pound-for-pound boxer in the history of boxing, Mr. Terence Bud Crawford.
Well, thanks everybody for being here. I'm happy for this moment. I'm happy for, the support that Omaha has been giving me over the years. I would say I'm blessed. It's been a roller coaster, but, we made it to the top. No matter how we made it, and, it's definitely a test to say that anything is possible if you work hard at it and you believe in yourself and you have the faith to keep going no matter what the obstacles is put in front of you, and you can achieve anything. So I practice that to the kids because coming from Omaha, nobody thinks you're capable of doing extraordinary. Well, you know what I'm trying to say. Kind of nervous. The big stuff. Yeah, you know what I mean? So they just think small town, we don't have no great athletes. We don't have no great actors, rappers, nothing. They just look over us and everything that we do. And most of the people that make it from Omaha, they don't come and give back, or they leave and don't turn around and look back. So it was very important for me to stay in Omaha to give those young individuals hope and to be able to see, a person that's at the top of the world in a craft and in a sport, to be able to say he's still here and I can actually physically see him and touch him, and to know that it's possible. So, I think that's very, critical for these young individuals, because when you're looking at them, they just need an outlet and motivation. And I'm that motivation for them to, succeed in whatever it is in life. They see me and they look at hope. They say, oh, that's hope. If he can do it, I can do it. And that's my main thing, is I want to have them, believing in themselves and knowing that, they can come from anywhere in the world and they still can succeed. So I thank y'all for coming out. We're going to have a great parade. And we're going to, we're going to party later on tonight. I hope all y'all come, and we're going to have a good day today. So let's celebrate, and enjoy one another, and that's it.
Well, thank you all for coming, and we will see you at the parade for the elected officials. If you can come down to the mayor's office.
He'll take a couple questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll have you take a couple questions.
Sorry.
Questions? You ask some questions.
Okay, we'll
All
start
right, let's go.
I'm Terence Crawford with All American News in Northern Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
What message do you have for the Latino and Mexican community of Omaha that are behind you in your corner, since even though you were fighting Canelo, one of the biggest Mexican boxers, and there were a lot of people from the Mexican community that were behind you and cheering you on?
It's the same thing. I appreciate them. It's no different because they Latino. Like I said, I've been, locked in with the Latino community since I started boxing. So, the Latinos is just like any other, race. We all one at the end of the day. We got to support each other and look at each other like brothers and sisters.
First off, congrats on the...
You went against me, huh?
What's up?
You went against me?
No, I picked you, but...
I mean...
I wanted to talk to you about, looking at the accomplishment, have you had a chance to look back at the fight? If you did, what sticks out to you about the fight that maybe didn't stick out to you in the moment of fighting Canelo?
Nothing. Nothing sticked out to me because, you know, I was in the moment, so I understood everything that was going on. You know, there was some surprises, I can say that, but you know, me being in that moment and knowing everything that was going on when it was happening, it was like everything just slowed down to me at that moment.
Have you given thought to, about like what other goal or challenge seems interesting to you?
To be honest, no. I just been chilling, you know. I've been on a pew 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 since the fight, so you know, I really ain't had time to even decompress, really. So I ain't got time to think about my next move or anything.
Omaha has always been behind you. You know, when it comes to today, having the parade, having all the officials here, and to be celebrating you, and you're talking about giving back, to have Omaha giving back to you in the state of Nebraska, giving back to you, what does that mean today?
It means everything, you know, because me putting Omaha on my back since I was a kid, you know, fighting in at the Quest Center in 2006, and everybody coming out to support me as a kid, you know, and me taking that in the ring as a professional, and every fight that I fought in, I'm repping my city and my state, Omaha, because when you look at all these other states and stuff like that, they say, oh, well, I'm from New York, or I'm from Texas, I'm from Chicago, I'm from Omaha, you know, so I'm gonna rep my city just like everybody around the world rep their city. So, you know, I love that Omaha is supporting me, and I, you know, love them, you know, and we support each other.
If I can follow up, just what does today mean also in terms of like you've been talking about, you've been all over doing press tours and everything else, but does today kind of feel like an exhale almost of like now I get to just have fun and enjoy back in your city?
Yeah, you know, man, like I said, man, we gonna have a good time tonight, you know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the parade. I'm kind of mad that it's a whole bunch of construction going on. You know, it's hard to get out here. But you know what I mean?
Construction means progress.
Yes, it definitely does. But we gonna make it do what it do, and I'm expecting a great turnout today.
Hey, Terence, normally when people watch all-time greats, they don't really always know until it's at the end. And there's always that saying that you never really, you know, appreciate someone until like they're dead or gone. Do you kind of relate to that quote? And on top of it, do you feel like, especially today, that you're getting your flowers as that all-time great?
Yeah, for sure. You know, but it's still, you know, when you look at it, it's still excuses. Like I said before the fight, you know, every one of my biggest fights, I say, I'm gonna be prepared for the excuses. When you so great and you so much ahead of your competition, you know, they look at the fighters that you fight and say they nobodies because how much you beat them by or the level of skills that you know, oppose against them. So when I fight this guy, it's all he was a nobody. When I fight this guy, all he was washed. When I fight this guy, it's an excuse, you know. So who you want me to fight? I beat this guy, it's an excuse. I beat this guy, you know, he's too young or whatever. So I'm never really going to get my full respect until afterwards. Yes, you know, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career. You know, we really didn't realize it until now when he's like doing extraordinary stuff, like going up 2 weight classes to fight the best fighter in that division, the #1 guy that's the face of boxing, you know. And the way that I handled that, people like, oh man, something had to be wrong. Canelo had to be washed, or Canelo just wasn't in it. And I see people saying, oh, Turkey paid for Canelo to lose, you know. So I just think, you know, when you that much better than the competition, you know, people not going to give you credit until they sit down and look at it and just be like, man, that dude was good.
Last one.
Hey, bud, it's box office Dom. You distinguish yourself among all your peers with that phenomenal win. I'm not sure there's another name that can elevate you further. So if you could fight any fighter from any era, who would it be and why?
Why everybody always ask me that question?
My bad, we got a different one.
Hey,
A
everybody,
different one.
yeah, give me a different one, because I'm
All right,
like,
but how important is preparation for you, and what advice did Bo Mack hammer in with you, or maybe what tape resonated with you the most in
I think preparation is everything. You know, if you prepare to the best of your abilities, you know, great things is gonna come from that. You know, I always say hard work beat talent when talent don't work hard. So if you talented, you know, without the work ethic, you know, somebody can outwork you that want it more. You know, so you gotta have everything all in sync. You know, you gotta work hard, especially when you at the top, because everybody gunning from you. Everybody working extremely hard to dethrone you. You know, and in camp, Bo Magnum just basically was just telling me stay disciplined. You know, stay disciplined, because knowing me, I'm a fighter. You know, I like to fight, so sometimes I get hit. You know, I'll be like, oh, I need to get that back. Let's go. You know, so it's all about staying disciplined, stay composed, and listening to your team and having faith in them.